For many years, there has been a desire by elements within our political classes to stem the growth of those in society who they regard as useless eaters, undesirable expressions of human consciousness, given life by nature's divine process in the image of their Creator. However, many are seen as an unnecessary burden on the elite's future aspirations of planned sustainable development towards a population of obedient workers.
Of all the problems which will have to be faced in the future, in my opinion, the most difficult will be those concerning the treatment of the inferior races of mankind.
As they work towards their all-encompassing technological control grid, they have also been quietly, socially engineering society for decades in an attempt to decimate the birth rate of various cultural, political, and racial groups in order to bring those who are left in line with their sinister and hidden agenda. As we move away from the age of Pisces, we leave the expansive, optimistic, and abundant energies associated with the age's ruling planet, Jupiter. An age where we saw the overall human population grow from an estimated 200 million at the time of Christ to over 7 billion people today. However, under the restrictive energies associated with Saturn, the new ruling planet of this new Aquarian epoch, we can expect the overall population of the Earth to decline considerably. Because structures and organizations of governance and control are naturally aligned with Saturnian energies, they are already and have already been working towards what they consider as a sustainable population.
The US must protect its citizens from disease while starting the urgent work of planning for a new epoch.
As Saturn is the ruling planet of all that lies beneath the Earth, it rules over rocks and stones. Its energies and characteristics are also represented by the number 6. Consequently, it is no coincidence to see the stone monument known as the Georgia Guidestones in the United States to be made up of 6 enormous stone blocks. This mysterious stone monument, created by an anonymous source, expresses aspirations in 8 different languages of a future world with only 500 million inhabitants. While we are being told that the world is overpopulated, satanic forces behind our elected officials have been working for decades to reduce the birth rate, especially in populations which they consider undesirable or a threat to their overall power and future plans. There are many ways to promote depopulation without resorting to brutal systemic slaughter of undesirables. More sophisticated yet subtle ways of persuasion are used to distract new generations from participating in population expansion. Lifestyle choice. Living as a single person is no longer seen as a social stigma.
In 2017, the US Census reported 110.6 million unmarried people over the age of 18. That's 45.2% of the American adult population, carrying out their lives to a new set of societal norms.
The promotion of LGBT lifestyles, no longer regarded as taboo.
Drawing on the widest survey of sexual behavior since the Kinsey Report, David Spiegelhalter, in his book Sex by Numbers, answers key questions about our private lives. Here he reveals how Kinsey's contested claim that 10% of us are gay is actually close to the mark.
Debt has become an acceptable burden to a whole new generation who consider it as the norm, putting many people off having a family due to financial worries.
A recent survey by the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys says members are seeing a big increase in people whose student loans are forcing them to delay major purchases or starting families.
There is a reduction in male sperm counts.
News last week that sperm counts in Western men have halved confirmed what experts already knew. The real problem is that no one knows why.
Choosing a career over motherhood.
According to a recent New York Post article, 43% of college-educated women between the ages of 33 and 46 are child-free. And many of these women appear to be bypassing motherhood altogether, as opposed to simply postponing it. Diet, injections and injunctions will combine from a very early age to produce the sort of character and the sort of beliefs that the authorities consider desirable, and any serious criticism of the powers that be will become psychologically impossible.
The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
There has also been a subversive policy to deliberately dilute specific European races which, in the past, promoted strong independence from the forces of globalization, which are trying to breed out resistance through a policy of forced integration.
I think there's a resurgence of anti-Semitism because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural. And I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.
The definition of genocide, according to Merriam-Webster.com, is the deliberate and systematic destruction of a racial, political, or cultural group.